A friend of mine asked me to change a broken string on her daughter's guitar, but I decided to do this instead. If you play the guitar, chances are you've owned one of these beginner brands before, like Rogue. A Rogue guitar is not a garbage guitar. It will hold a tune, but it is certainly in the beginner's category of guitars. Now, apart from the old strings, I noticed two things right away. First of all, the bridge was too tall, making the string action very high. That's going to be harder for her to fret the strings. Now, this beginner guitar doesn't have a truss rod, so I'm obviously going to need to lower that bridge somehow. I also noticed that there were several structural issues with the guitar, all greater than my expertise, so I'm not going to fix those right now, but I can definitely take care of the bridge. I started off by getting the strings off and then cleaning up the guitar a little. You can get one of these paintbrushes for dirt cheap. Probably can get one at the dollar store. They're great for dusting off the guitar, especially if you're in a hurry or you're not going to change the strings. You're going to leave the strings on. It's great for dusting in between the strings. Next, I decided to add some F1 oil to help condition the neck. And I understand you might be saying, well, why are you conditioning the neck of a cheap guitar like this? It's not going to make a difference. She might not have it for long. Well, that's true, but I would like to give the guitar back in a better condition than how I received it. That's just how I was taught. I added a little oil to each fret and then buffed it in, and then it looked pretty good. Next, I wanted to look at lowering the bridge, and one way to do this is to take a Sharpie marker and actually mark the bottom of the bridge there. Then you can file down the bridge. When the marker is gone, you've essentially taken off one small layer of the bridge. Now, I needed to move a little more material than that because this guy was so high. So I marked up the sides a little bit as well to give me a good reference point when it comes to knowing where to stop. I decided to use my Dremel to move most of the material, and then I finished it off with a straight file. After that, I placed the bridge back in the saddle, and then it was time to replace the strings. Now, I have a video on how to change guitar strings, a full video, and I'll link that in the description below. But for now, I want to show you, just give you a tip, I guess, on how to replace strings without all the hassle of the loops and the knots and the loop-de-loops and all that different stuff. You don't need that. Here's how you do it. Make sure the tuner peg hole is facing the fretboard when you start. Feed the string through, stretch it to the next peg, and then clip it. Hold the string where there's about 1/8 of an inch sticking out of the hole. Wind the peg to where the string will lay on the inside edge of the peg. Here's the key. The first time around, you're going to wind the string over the hole. And the second time around, you're going to wind it under the hole. This is going to help pinch that string and keep it into place. Now, I've been playing the guitar for over 20 years, and I've never had a string slip using this method. I'm sure people out there who've been playing for 150 figured out a way to do it better, but for me, I've never had problems with this method. After the strings were on, it was time to tune it up and see how it sounded. I think it turned out pretty nice for a little Rogue guitar that was sitting in a closet for several years, not doing anything, just collecting dust. I would imagine she's going to look into buying a nicer guitar in the future, especially if she sticks with it. But for now, at least she has a guitar with some polish and some new strings and a little lower action. Sometimes it's the small things in life that'll stop you from learning an instrument. Hopefully giving this guitar a little makeover will encourage her to keep trying. Thanks for watching.